recording we started late. Okay, so J2E containers are the core of Java programmers these days. They are going to maintain the threads and transactions and connections and memory. So in other programming languages, the traditional programming languages, for example, C and C++, these things are not available. And the programmers have to make sure these things are developed by themselves from scratch. But the programming language like Java has so many tools developed by third-party companies. For example, IBM have developed a WebSphere server, and Red Hat is using this JBoss server. Apache is giving you a free Tomcat. So all these servers are going to give you the thread management, transaction management, connections management, database connections, memory management, all these things. So that's why this Java programming language is important. So many other non-profit and for-profit organizations are developing their tools and they want to run their show. They are not going to make sure this Java is going to die. And the people who are planning to build their career in Java or even non-Java, you have to have some kind of a knowledge on these things. The Scrum means what? Agile means what? What is Kanban means? What is stories means? What is sprint means? So there are so many terminologies. You don't have to be expert in those things, but you have to understand what are all they. So if you think you are done with Java, you are learned Java, you are ready for an interview, or you are already started giving interviews, you are already doing job, try to focus on these things. I learned these things. What you do is you are going to update your resume with any of these things which you learn. For example, you learn Jenkins, you learn Chef, you learn Bamboo, you learn Maven. So start learning one after other, and then slowly improve your resume, improvise your resume. That's my small tip. And the databases. So when you go for an interview as a Java developer, they are going to ask some questions. So for example, what is ACID? So many people think, I am a Java developer, why are they asking the database related questions? Because when you are developing a Java program and it is going to connect to database and it is going to do some kind of a database transactions, you as a Java developer must know how the database works, what is transaction means, what is atomicity means, what is consistency means, what is isolation means. So these are the different things you need to know. You don't have to be expert in these things, but these are the basics you have to understand if you are planning to portray yourself as a Java developer. You need to have little bit of SQL knowledge. What is SQL? What are the different types of SQL syntaxes available? Some basics. You don't have to be expert in the technology, but you have to have some kind of a knowledge. And any of the databases, I listed so many here, Oracle, MySQL, so many databases available. So any of these databases, mostly what you call SQL or NoSQL, relational or non-relational. So you have to have some kind of a knowledge. And many people are thinking, oh, these days there are NoSQL databases and these relational databases have died. No, they did not. Though the relational databases are still in play, they are being used. So you have to learn something before you jump onto job openings. Because when you think you are the Java developer, the expectation is you have to have some kind of a basic knowledge in databases. And whatever the keywords you see on my screen, these keywords you might be adding into your resume if they are missing. Because people know already, but they don't write in their resume. So for example, you know what is view means. You know what is function means. What is SQL means. What is connection pool means. Try to add these keywords in your resume so that your resume becomes heavier and it becomes more relevant. Some other technologies, if you want to learn. So for example, you have learned Java and you know Java and you think you are expert in Java. That's good. Then you learn SQL, you learn databases. That's good. After that, you think, okay, what else I should learn? You can learn a little bit of UI, little bit of JavaScript, some Ajax, some Angular, some jQuery, some kind of a network connections, right? Some Unix commands, some kind of a cron jobs. It's a cron, CRON. It's a mistake. There are so many memory analyzer tools. So if you think you are done with one thing, go to the next one. So I'm just trying to give you those keywords which you want to enter in your resume to claim an expert. So many people think, oh, for last 3 months, I'm applying for the job, I'm not getting the job. What next? What next is there are so many things for you to learn. So keep learning new things, keep adding those new keywords in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile, so that your profile becomes heavier, your resume becomes heavier, your resume becomes more relevant. So these again are different tools and technologies companies are using. You don't have to be expert in any of these things. For example, Crucible. You don't have to become a master of Crucible. You have to know what is Crucible means, how it is used, what are the functionalities this Crucible is going to provide for the Java developers or the company. That's all you need to know. Web service means what, how the request goes, how the response comes, what is HTTP method, what are the different HTTP methods this web service supports, right? So these basics you have to understand, that's all. So to understand these basics, you might spend 1 hour or 1 day. But once you think you understood these basics and you can handle the interview questions, go ahead and add those keywords in your resume. Go ahead and add those keywords in your LinkedIn profile or Naukri.com profile or MasterIndia.com profile, NaukriGulf.profile, whatever the profiles you have. Performance tools, you don't have to be performance engineer, but if you want to build your career as a performance engineer, then you have to be an expert in either LoadRunner or NeoLoad or JMeter or some kind of performance testing tool. So overall, what I'm trying to say is, if you learn Java, you don't have to be a Java developer. You can be a performance engineer, you can be a performance tester, or you can be an automation tester. And some basic minimum Java is required for all these other jobs too. And majority of the time in production environments, people have to know what is Elasticsearch means, what is Kibana means, what is ServiceStar means, App Dynamics means, Splunk means, Prometheus means. There are so many different technologies, but you don't have to be master and you don't have to learn all those things to start your first job. So that's the keyword. You remember that. Don't become overwhelmed by looking at all these keywords. If you know any of these things, that's better. If you don't know, that's okay. Many of the times what happens is, if you are a Java developer and if you know any of the rules engine, for example, Pega, Camunda, or Drools, there are a lot of jobs available. You know the basic Java, but you also know Drools. You know the basic Java, you also know Camunda. You know basic Java and you know the Pega. There are a lot of jobs available. So the people who are trying to stay away from Java, you can do your job using these Crystal reports or Cognos or SQL service reports or actual reports. But if you know a little bit of Java along with these other technologies, you are the gem in your company and you have a lot of respect in your office. That's why I listed these things. Being a Java developer, you don't have to know all these things. Even I don't know all these things. So the important point I'm trying to mention here is, people think, oh, I'm learning Java for last 1 month, last 2 months, last 6 months. I did not learn enough. No, you have learned enough. You do your practice, but at the same time, on one side, you do your resume preparation, your online profile like LinkedIn or Monster or something. But at the same time, you give the interviews and learn something new. Give the interviews something new. So for example, last 15 days, you have given 4 interviews. That doesn't mean your learning process stopped. You have to learn something new. I have given so many keywords in my previous slides. All those keywords, whatever I mentioned in my previous slides, each of them you have to learn when you are out of job or looking for a job or in between jobs or even on the job and started giving interviews and actively looking for a job. Because all these tools and technologies are going to be useful when you are working in a company in real-time environment. So learning the technology is not going to stop your searching process, and searching process is not going to start your learning process. So learning and searching has to go parallel. And those who are just freshers coming out of the college or first time you are looking for a job and you don't have any IT or software experience, certifications are important. Go and do some certification. It can be Java certification from Oracle, or it can be some other certification, LinkedIn certification, Brain Bench certification. Any of the certifications are going to give you an opportunity to attend an interview, because people who have experience, they are going to claim their experience. The people who don't have any experience, instead of claiming experience, they are going to claim their certifications. So certifications are going to give a credibility in your profile. There are some different types of jobs available. I listed some of them here. So as I was mentioning before, if you learn Java, you don't have to be a Java developer. You can be a WebLogic administrator or WebPeer administrator or some kind of a database connection related administrator or Hadoop administrator, big data, data scientist, AI. No matter what you do, you can still keep your Java with you and you have a respect in your company, because you being a WebLogic administrator or WebSphere administrator, you also know Java. Because majority of the applications are developed in Java and deployed in these servers, and people with Java experience or Java knowledge, they have respect in the companies. So even if you don't want to become a Java developer, you can become a server administrator, but you have a Java flavor with you. You are the Hadoop expert, but you have a Java flavor with you. You are a data scientist and you have Java knowledge. So that is going to give you an advantage and mileage and a preference in job openings. And these days, majority of the automation testing is happening using Java with Selenium and Java with Cucumber, Java with Gherkin. So people who are planning to stay on testing side, they can use their Java technology knowledge, and they will be having a lot of respect in the company because they know Java and they know how to use Java. And you can be a web developer. You don't have to be a backend developer. So these days there are so many different types of jobs, like a full stack developer, backend developer, UI developer, so many thick clients developer, mobile developer. In all these development environments, Java is going to be useful. So you don't have to be a just core Java developer, but you can be any of these things which I mentioned here. There are some more on my next slide. So the people who just started their career, they can join as a junior Java developer or trainee Java developer or interns. And once you acquire like 4 or 5 years of experience, you can call yourself as a senior Java developer, or then you can become a lead after 10, 15 years. You might become an architect. So that is the career path I'm just trying to show. And these days, the security is going to play a lot of important role. So in security side, also you can expertise yourself, Java security expert. So these days, everything is talking about cyber security. So within the cyber security market, there are again Java roles. Within e-commerce market, there are Java roles. So it is like a big ocean, series of oceans, and you can explore which ocean you want to explore. Within the DevOps world, again, there are Java related roles. at the end, as I was telling from the beginning itself, so important, the resume is really important. Make sure the correct keywords are available in your resume. So for example, you are trying to claim yourself as a Java full stack developer, which means you have to have some kind of a core Java knowledge. Along with that, you are going to have React or Angular or Vue or some kind of a UI knowledge, right? So make sure what kind of technologies have to be there in your resume based on your profile. If you want to say, I am a Java expert along with my Hadoop knowledge. So all your Hadoop related keywords are going to be visible in your resume. Plus there are some Java related keywords. That's all. And next important point for any fresher is you are going to mention your projects. Either you did your project in your college, or you did your project as part of your freelance work, or you did your project like doing at home, like a hobby, and you upload those projects to GitHub, and you are going to display them in your resume. Otherwise, you are going to work in any company, you have real experience, you can claim that. So the projects are important. You don't have to mention a long description of the project, but you have to mention what technologies you have used in the project and how you use those technologies. That's what is important when you're writing about projects. So that's why you have to write the roles, give importance to roles. What is your role in the project and how you work with your team and what are all the other different clients you have interacted with. So write technical terms instead of writing functional terms. For example, recently I was reviewing one of the resume and the person was saying, I was using Google technology and we were interacting with the Google technology and Google technology was giving us the information. We were giving some information to the Google technology. It's a vague word. So instead of writing like that, in your resume, you have to mention, I was using JSP, I was using struts, I was using Spring, I was using Hibernate. And I was using Hibernate for what? To write the data to the database. I was using web service to interact with my client. I was using HTTP protocol. I was using TCP/IP protocol. So when you are writing the resume, make sure the technical terms are visible. And if you think your resume is not getting selected, means there is something wrong, you can approach CGC and CGC is going to help you improvise your resume. Number of pages. So many of the people have doubt, my resume has to be only 1 page, only 2 pages. And in that process, people are trying to cram the resume and make it like 1 page, 2 page, and they are reducing the font or reducing the margin, or what they are doing is they are reducing the spacing between lines. So don't do that. No matter how long your resume is, if your resume has real content, it is going to be selected. So if your resume has 6 pages and someone else's resume has 2 pages, the employer is going to select the resume only because their resume has 2 pages. That's not right. Okay. And interviews. In interviews, majority of the time, people from this technology background, they don't know how to negotiate the salary. And when you are trying to relocate, what are the things you have to talk about? So, for example, you have a lot of experience, like 4 or 6 or 10, 15 years of experience, which means you are in a position to negotiate. You don't have to just agree if someone is going to say, I'm going to give you 3 lakhs per annum, 6 lakhs per annum, $50,000 per year in US. You don't have to just agree and accept. If you think that compensation is less, if you think you have very good knowledge, very good background, you have to negotiate the salary. Negotiation doesn't mean always they'll say, if they say 3, I have to say 6. No, you have to say what is the market rate, and you have to know what is your market rate according to your expertise, your experience, your knowledge, your technologies. For example, you know Java and Hadoop and SAP, you can expect more. You know UI and also the backend, you can expect more. You know DevOps and Java, then you can expect more. And if you are moving from one city to other city, majority of the companies say, okay, we are going to give you the relocation charges because you are moving your family from one city to other city. You have to throw something out, buy something new. You have to carry something with you. So all those things companies are going to provide, and you can talk about those things in second or third round of your interview. And majority of the companies these days are not trusting your resume, your interview. So they are asking people to write the code either on a paper or a computer, sometimes like 4 or 5 people sitting around you, and they're asking, okay, write the code. I want to see how you are going to write the code. So don't try to be shy away from those kind of experiences. It's okay. You will become strong even if you don't get selected. So go ahead and write the code in front of them or without them. And a lot of people are asking the candidates to write the online tests, and the test is time based. So try to finish the test. It's not really important how good, how best you are doing. They just want to see, are you able to meet the deadlines or not? That is another important point you have to remember if someone is asking you to write the online test. And the types of interviews here in US, we have phone interviews and Skype interviews. It is common, but here in India, there may be many of the interviews in person, especially now the COVID is all over. So you might have see more in-person interviews than phone and Skype interviews in India, but here in US, always there are phone interviews and Skype interviews, even today, always. When you are done with your interview, come back and note down what they asked for from you and what did you answer. And if they are asking something new which you don't know, come back and note down. So lessons learned is important. When you are done with your interview, note down. And for example, they were asking you about Spring, and some 4 questions they asked, and you don't know all 4, or you know only 2, or you don't know. So note down those questions and do some research and ask questions. You can come back and ask me or any of the CGC volunteers. We are here to help you. When you are done with your interview, and in interview they asked something and you did not understood, or you understood but you don't know the answer, you did your all Google search, you are not able to find it, come and ask the questions. Even if you did not select or you got selected, always good to know whatever the things you don't know. So that's really important. Where are you going to find the jobs? Not only these jobs, but learning also. For example, I'm trying to learn automation testing, and I don't know what to learn. What are all the things automation testing means? Go to any jobs website. For example, monster.com, monsterindia.com, or linkedin.com, or naukri.com. Apply desired job, Java developer, automation tester, whatever you want to search there. Once you search that place, you will get so many results. Click on each job description. In these job descriptions, they are going to mention what are they expecting from the candidate. And for example, they are mentioning automation tester job, and they are saying Gherkin and Selenium are required. You will find some other automation tester opening, and they are saying HP Quality Center is required. So each time when you search, you will get some kind of results. And in those results, you will find the keywords. And those keywords are important in your resume. So when you are applying for a job, you have to make sure whatever the things they are expecting from the candidate, those things are there in your resume. They are going to call you for interview. Otherwise, they are not going to call. And if you know any recruiters, even within CGC also, there are so many people in recruiting field, they might help you. So if you know recruiter, that is better. If you don't know recruiter, then you can come to CGC, approach CGC and find out. As I said, you have all these job portals available, monsterindia.com, us.com, or indeed.com. Dice is in US. I don't know India. LinkedIn is all over the world. And the important point about LinkedIn is those who are already working right now in the companies, make sure your manager, your boss, your friends, your colleagues, they are all part of your LinkedIn connections. If they are not there, make sure you add them. A lot of people send me a connection request on LinkedIn. Of course, I accept, that's not a problem. But connecting with me is not important compared to connecting with your colleagues. There are 4 colleagues in your company. None of them are connected to you on LinkedIn, which means there is something wrong with your LinkedIn profile. So that's important. There may be many Java professionals groups, and within CGC, you can get some referrals. So there are some CGC volunteer who is working in a company and their company needs a Java developer job or automation tester job or Hadoop job, any of the jobs which I listed in my previous slides. If people are working in those jobs, they can refer you. So referrals are going to work better. And finally, if you need any help, you can come to WhatsApp groups of CGC and ask. Otherwise, you can directly shoot me an email. So that's my email address. You can stop the recording, Shoaib. We can take questions. I don't know how much time we took. Almost 45 minutes. So we can take questions. You can unmute yourself or type. I think there are some comments and questions I already see in the chat here. Let me go through one by one. Oh, there was no audio? Hello? Shoaib?
Hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear. You are able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see on my chat there are some people saying no audio.
Okay. So might be they have not.
Maybe they have their problem. Okay.
Yep.
You are not able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can. I can see your screen.
No, on chat I see some people saying no screen visible, no audio. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, go ahead, your question.
Assalamualaikum. Fasiuddin, I have total 14 years experience in the UI developer as a front-end engineer.
Which technology?
Right now I'm working on Angular technology.
Angular, okay, perfect.
Okay. So the project which currently I'm working on, that is the Angular plus Java technology. But morely I connected with the Angular only. So what its benefit to me if I go through the Java?
So the benefit is you are going to have more job opportunities and you can expect little higher or better salary than what you are getting right now. And because you already know the Angular technology, if you know Java, going forward, you will have more respect, more job security. If company is going to fire someone else, they are not going to fire you. So that is the advantage.
Okay.
And even if the company is firing you, company says, I don't want you, some other company is going to hire you. They say, I want this person because you know Angular and also you know Java. And in Java also, you don't have to know 500 things. If you know at least one technology called Spring Boot, where you can develop what you call web service, REST web service, that's enough. You know how to develop a web service and you know how to consume the REST web service using Angular. You are the hot cake in the market.
Okay. So do I need to learn CI/CD also from the DevOps side, or just I need to learn so for the knowledge purpose? Should I learn the upper layer?
If you know CI/CD basics, for example, what is Jenkins means, what is pipeline means, what is deployment means, what is the deployment script looks like, some basics, if you know, that is good, but that's not a mandatory requirement.
Okay. So what I seen last couple of months on a Naukri.com, the most of the people put a JD like we should know CI/CD, DevOps, Java, but they are asking for the UI architect for architect positions, and they are asking for so many knowledge from the UI architect. Is this mandatory or what? What that's why I just wanted to understand, is this mandatory for UI?
Generally managers and architects, these people don't really sit on a computer and write the code. For example, if you are an architect, you have to know what is CI/CD means, what is pipeline means, something is not happening, some deployment is not going through. You have to know the terminology and you have to know how to tell those things to your juniors. So you become a manager or an architect, you're not going to go and fix the pipeline or create a new pipeline or deploy something, right? There are people in the company, they do all those things. But being an architect, you should know if someone comes to you and say, some AWS is not working, some network is not working, some firewall is not open, some client is not responding, you have to know what is the meaning of it.
Okay.
When they say CI/CD means, you don't have to go there and install a Jenkins server or Bamboo server. You don't have to configure the Bamboo server. You don't have to create a new pipeline. You are not going to write a script to create a new pipeline. They want to know the terminology, basic terminology, if you're an architect.
Okay.
If you don't know those things, your juniors will come and say something is not working and you don't know, you have to just agree and accept. Otherwise, you becoming an architect, you are going to create a architectural diagram and you are going to explain those diagrams to your clients or your boss or your company CEO or some big people, CTO. If you don't know what is happening down the stream, you cannot explain them.
Correct.
So if you are trying to become a manager or architect, you have to know how things work. That doesn't mean you are going to work on that every day. In interviews, they are going to ask the questions. What is pipeline means in CI/CD? In Java world, they are going to ask what is the REST web service means? What is the request means? What is the response means? What are the different HTTP methods? What is firewall? So these things they might ask you, but they are not going to say, okay, go and create a firewall, go and create a permission within the firewall. So that's not going to happen.
Okay.
But if you are planning to claim yourself as a full stack developer or Java plus Angular developer, then you have to know at least these basic things, writing a new code to create a REST endpoint.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Jazakallah.
Any other questions?
Sir, may I ask?
Yes.
So my question is like, if I want to enter into Java's, like from past 4 years, I'm working into sales field. After my engineering, like I'm into sales and recruiting. Actually, I have done the Java course, but entering into the Java market after having a doing non-IT jobs, so it is very tough. So how can you advise?
Did you already completed Java course?
Yes, I have done the Java course.
And you are confident?
Yes.
So if you have completed the course, if you are confident, if you can sit and write like 100 lines, 300 lines of a program by yourself without any help, start applying for the Java related jobs. That is the starting point, first basic. Once you get an interview call, then you will be able to understand what is missing in you.
Okay, sir.
Right? And second thing, what you can do is write certification. If you write the Java certification, you will be able to gauge yourself what is missing in you, because something might be missing in you and you don't know.
Yes.
Right? So that's how people can understand what I know and what I don't know. If you go for interviews, you will be able to understand what is missing. If you're writing the program, you will be able to understand something is missing in you. Otherwise, the third option is you are going to write some certification exam. And in those certification exams, practice exams, you will be able to see, oh, this is missing in me. This is missing in me. So especially the time management also. In case of the certification exams, you will be able to perform everything, but you will take a lot of time. So time management and practice And during these times, if you find any difficulty or any problems, you are stuck somewhere, you don't know how to get out of your situation, come and ask us. We are here to help.
Okay, sir. Got it.
So I have one question. People they distinguish, core Java, advanced Java. Now people are talking about Java full stack developer. So what it takes to learn all these skill sets? Is it like one by one, or are there any specific skills that we need to focus first and then work on these? Can you help us?
So I have listed like 500 things in my whole presentation. Even I don't know at least 30% of them. So for example, I have listed there Hadoop. I don't know Hadoop. I have listed there, load runner. I have never used load runner in my lifetime. So no one is going to learn all of them. So basic thing people have to learn is what is Java programming language. So whatever the basic programming language provided by Sun Microsystems or Oracle these days, you have to know that. That is the basic. Everyone has to know, no matter whether you are a Java Hadoop developer, Java security developer, Java automation engineer, Java performance engineer, any profile, those things are required. That is the basic, that is the foundation. After that, if you want to become a full stack developer, you have to have some kind of a REST knowledge, how to develop a REST web service these days. No one is using SOAP web service. No one is creating a new SOAP web service these days. So you just have to know how to create a REST web service using a Spring Boot. Then you have to have some kind of a Java database connectivity knowledge, how to create a database connection, how to interact with the database tables, how to insert data into the database, how to retrieve the data from the database. That is the basic thing everyone has to know. Then if you are planning to claim yourself as a full stack developer, you have to know either React or Angular or Vue.js, but you don't have to know all three. One is enough. If you don't want to claim yourself as a full stack developer, you can say I am a backend developer. Then you have to know the basic core Java, and then you have to know a little bit of Spring Boot with REST web services. And if you don't want to go that side, you have to know the basic core Java. Plus, you need to know some kind of a Selenium, Gherkin, Cucumber, these things. So overall, what I'm trying to say is people get overwhelmed when they see all these keywords. Oh, maybe I have to learn all these things, then only I'll get a job. No. If you know basic core Java, you will get a job. But what kind of a job profile changes? One is, as I said, you might become a core Java developer. You might become a Java automation engineer. You might become a Java Hadoop engineer. You might become a Java full stack engineer. You might become a Java DevOps engineer. So there are so many different profiles. Based on profile, you have to learn something. And while doing the job, you will be able to get exposure to so many different tools. Recently, I was talking to one of the Java engineer. He might be having like 5 years of experience. And in his company, his manager told him, oh, we have an Excel sheet. You have to read the data from Excel sheet. You don't know. That's okay. People come and ask questions. That is important. When you have a problem, when you are stuck, when you are in the job and there is a situation and you cannot handle it, we are here to help. So there is a third-party API called POI. If you go to Google, search for POI Excel, you will find it's a freely available downloadable software, and it uses Java. So using your Java program, using POI, you will be able to read the Excel sheet data, and you can write the Excel sheet data. You can see the fonts, you can see the colors, many things you can do wonders. There are APIs available to read the PDF, write the PDF, extract the images from PDF. There are APIs available to manipulate the audio files, video files. You can extract images from the video files. You can do wonders, but you don't have to become expert in all those things. When you're working in a company, every company has a different need. And according to needs of your company, you are going to learn something. So on day one, you don't have to be expert in all those things. If you know the basics of Java, start searching for the job. Now the question is what kind of a job it is. If it is an automation engineer, you need Selenium along with your Java. You need Cucumber along with your Java. If you want to claim yourself as a full stack developer, some kind of a UI technology is required. So based on profile, you are going to add other flavors, but the basic thing is the core Java. So for example, you go to a restaurant and you will say, give me a thali, right? So they will give rice. Without rice, there is no thali. In rice, along with rice, they might be giving you some sambar. They are going to give some kind of a korma. They are going to give some kind of a papad. Those extra things are not important. The rice is important. Without rice, there is no thali, right? So core Java you learn. Rest of the things are additions. The recording is going to be available soon on YouTube, and the previous recordings are also available. Unfortunately, today the recording started a little late, so starting 4 or 5 slides are not there in the recording. They are going to add the recording on YouTube, and if you are already on CGC groups, they are going to post the link of the recording on your CGC groups. Java or digital marketing, which one is the best course? See, every job has its own demands. So if you think you are good in programming, if you love to write the programs, become a Java developer. If you think you are very good people person means you will be able to go and interact with people and you are going to talk to people. You love talking to people. You are the expert in convincing people. Then you become a marketing person. Digital marketing means you have to have some kind of a creativity. Digital marketing means you are not going to meet people face to face, but you are going to meet people on social media. So if you post something on Facebook, a lot of people are going to watch, a lot of people are going to like, a lot of people are going to comment, which means you are the best in digital marketing. You know how to do the digital marketing. Sitting at home, you are posting something on the Facebook, you are posting something on the YouTube, you are posting on something on LinkedIn, you are posting something on GitHub, and people are jumping on it, which means you are the best in terms of digital marketing. But you have to know what is your strength. Everyone has some kind of a strength, and your strength is not equal to my strength. My strength is not equal to your strength or your peers or your cousin or your brother. So everyone has their own strength, and you work according to your strengths. And you have to understand and recognize your strength. If you don't understand, you don't recognize, try to take the help from your seniors, your family members, your teachers, your mentors, your lecturers, your parents. Someone might know about you if you don't know about yourself.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
sir, to be a backend Java developer, along with core Java, what other technology we should know?
If you want to become a backend Java developer, the basic minimum people have to know is Spring Boot and how to create a simple REST API. So there is one endpoint, one URL. Using that URL, you will be able to send some data and receive some data. That is the basic minimum you have to know if you are claiming yourself as a backend Java developer. Once you know that, you can add more things to that. For example, you are going to add security, how to pass security credentials, how to reject if the security credentials are not valid. It is called OAuth. So if you know OAuth and you know the REST API, how to develop a REST API, and you know the core Java, that's all. You can start searching for the job. During the process of searching jobs, if you find something else, you can learn that. But you don't have to learn on day one before you start searching for the job. If you know core Java, if you know how to write a REST API, put your resume online, keep applying for the jobs, start attending the interviews, and explore yourself more.
Okay, sir. So the Spring and Spring Boot, what is the difference?
Spring has so many things, not just Spring and Spring Boot, but there are very many things available in the Spring. Few things I mentioned on my screen here. I'm going back to the screen. Yeah, so few things I mentioned here. There are many more. So you have a Spring Boot. Spring Boot means you are going to create an application which is going to run by itself without any containers. That's what Spring Boot means. A small application, it can be just 5-10 lines of application, and you are going to create that application, and that application can be independently deployed on any container. The container can be a Docker container, AWS container, or Azure container. It can be a Google container, IBM container, any containers you will be able to deploy. That's called Spring Boot. So the advantages of Spring Boot are it is going to work like a server, but you don't have to buy a server or rent a server. And you will be able to deploy itself. It is going to run by itself. So that is the advantage of Spring Boot. Spring MVC means Model View Controller. You are going to develop a UI using the Spring MVC. Majority of the companies are not using that. They are using this Angular or React or Vue these days. But if there is a company which they have already developed a product which is using Spring MVC, they might still continue. Spring is going to give you validations. There are so many different validation APIs available within the Spring, and you can use them. And there are some string handling functions, utility functions. So Spring is like an ocean. There are so many different flavors of Spring, and each of the flavor is going to work in different way. For example, Spring Batch. If you want to insert 100 records, read 500 records from a file, and you are going to create 500 records file and send it to your client, all those things you will be able to do using Spring. Spring Cloud means your application is deployed on the cloud, and you are going to read the configurations from the cloud using either property file or a database. Then you are going to use Spring Cloud. So Spring has so many things. From outside, if you think there is only one Spring, but there are so many things within the Spring, and Spring framework is a lot. If you go to Google and find out the Spring framework, there are so many things available.
Okay, thank you, sir. So any online resource you will recommend to learn Spring Boot?
Google.
Google, okay.
So go to Google, you will find hundreds of links, and Google is going to provide the topmost and popular link first. And if that is not helping you, go for the second, third, fourth. Nothing is working. You tried everything. Come back to us.
Thank you.
Inshallah, we are here to help.
Yeah.
So on the last page, I have my email address. You can note down, and you can shoot me an email, and you can contact me on LinkedIn or email, either or fine. There is some question on the chat. I'm just trying to address that. For front end, what should we learn? Yeah. So as I mentioned multiple times in my whole presentation, the people who are planning to become a front end developer or front end plus back end developer, also called as full stack developers, they should learn Angular or React or Vue.js. All these three technologies are going to use a language called TypeScript. TypeScript is the language. TypeScript has its own syntax, and that syntax is going to be used in these three UI technologies. If you want to become only UI developer, no Java developer, that is fine. You want to become UI developer plus Java developer, that is called full stack developer. So people who are planning to explore the front end side, UI side, they should go and learn Angular or React or Vue. There are a lot of online resources. Udemy has courses, YouTube has videos, Google is going to give you a lot of websites, and there are so many online tutors from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, and there may be so many computer coaching centers in Hyderabad, they might be teaching. So it is your choice, which one you want, online or video or Udemy or in person. So many options available. And anytime if you have any problem, come and ask us. And people who want to become a UI experts, definitely they need to know some kind of a CSS, JavaScript, HTML. These are the basics, especially the HTTP protocol, what is post means, what is get means, what is HTTP 400 means, what is HTTP 500 means, what is HTTP 200 means. These are the basic terms and terminologies they have to understand.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am a Java developer, but I would like to develop one application using Java. So, but I'm not sure how to start and which application work on that, and I don't have clarity on this. Then I
So
should develop.
for the sake of all the other participants on the call, I will explain in short, but tell me what is your problem? What kind of application you are planning to develop?
Yeah, I want to develop one application using Spring Boot and UI.
What application? What application has to do?
That is, I don't have clarity on that.
That's what. So if you don't know what is the problem, you cannot solve the problem. Bottom line. Okay, go ahead now. I'm going to give you an example. So for example, I want to develop an application. This is my very favorite application, and I give this example in my every talk. The example is, you all have a credit card in your home. It may be yours, it may be your brother's, it may be your father, it may be your mother, but people have credit card these days. If you don't have a credit card, that's okay. You have a bank account. So what you do is you go to the bank account, your credit card account, download the statement. The statement has, oh, you went to this particular shop, you did so many shopping. You went to this particular mall, you are drinking coffee. You went to this gas station, you filled the gas. You went to this petrol pump, you did your car repair. You went to a showroom and you bought something. These are all transactions listed in your credit card statement or bank statement. Download that in the form of a file. Once you download, write a Java application to read that file. Once you read, you insert that into database. Once you insert into database, you create a UI to see those transactions in the UI. Then you create a filter. Okay, give me all the transactions I did at the petrol pump. Give me all the transactions in coffee shops. Give me all the transactions in the restaurants. Give me all the transactions where I was buying some dresses. It looks interesting. So you are doing the analysis of your own finances using a technology. So if you know the problem, now you have to understand how to solve the problem. If you don't have a problem, then there's nothing to solve, right? So I'm just giving you an example, but you can create your own examples, your own problems. And in that process, if you find difficulty, come back and ask us.
Yeah, actually, this one is like a sample project, not like that. I want to develop my own application that should be useful to others, and I need some clients like that.
See, if you really want to solve the problems of the client, first you have to meet the client and then ask. Otherwise, you are planning to develop a product. For example, you want to develop a product. I'll give you an example of a product. Someone developed a cloud application to watch my videos. So I have a video camera installed in India, and I am sitting in US, and I want to watch what is happening. And I want to go and rewind. Oh, 2 days ago, what happened? At this particular time, what happened? So what they did, first of all, they developed a software to record the video in India. They developed the software to upload that video on cloud, and they developed a software to log into that application from US. They developed a software to read that video file from their servers on the cloud into my app, which I installed on my phone. So this is the problem, and this is the solution, and it is called a product, and you are going to sell that product. Who is going to buy? You have to find the marketing person to market your product. If your product is really good, and no one is offering such product in the market, and it is solving the problems of a lot of people, your product will be a hot cake and you will become millionaire. Karodpati. There is another question on the chat. I worked in CMPY for 6 months. So recently they told to resign, total duration of time 6 months, totally on bench. So I need to mention resume. So people who are getting fired because of no reason or company getting trimmed down, what you should do is, first of all, when you are in the company, even if the company is not giving you any work, you create your own work in the company, because company is giving you a place to sit, company is going to give you a computer, company is going to provide all the softwares available in the company to you. So you have to ask your manager, what softwares are we using, what kind of products we are developing, and what kind of projects this company is doing. If manager is not giving you proper response, you can go and ask your colleagues. When you are sitting in the company and eating the lunch, you can talk to people on the lunch table. If you are going for a coffee break and someone is making coffee, someone is drinking coffee, someone is taking coffee, ask them. When you talk to people, when you interact with people, you will be able to get the ideas, and those ideas you can mention in your resume. And now people are already out of the job, company fired them, and they don't know what to do now. So because you genuinely worked in the company, you have all the pay stubs and proofs, you have offer letter, all those things are going to give you a genuinity. But the bottom line is, in reality, you did not work anything. But being a company member, you can claim some of the company projects as your own projects and start applying for the jobs and try to get the job as soon as possible. Any other questions?
Yeah, I need some information regarding to who developed products previously and how they are developed, and I need some information. I will follow the same thing.
There are hundreds and millions of products. Just now I gave you one example of viewing the video using cloud. So that is one simple example. I can give another example. Every day, people who are working in Java, they use Eclipse. Eclipse is a product developed by independent people, providing us the free solution. Eclipse is a product. Just now in my slides, I was talking about Lombok. Lombok is a product developed by some people, developed in Java. Jira is a product. Confluence is a product. So there are so many products available. They are all developed in Java. These are all the products developed by the company and sold by the company. But many of the products are developed by the company for the company. That's what called project. So every company is developing their own projects, and those projects are used by the company itself, not for others. And if you really want to go into products line, if you see the MySQL is a product developed in Java. And there is a dbeaver. Dbeaver is a connecting tool to connect to databases, any databases. It is developed in Java. There is a rational functional tester developed in Java. There is a rational application developer developed in Java. So there are so many products in the market being sold as a products, commercial products or freely downloadable products. They are all developed in Java. Just now I was telling that POI is a product developed by Java, freely available.